Welcome back, everyone. This is a video that I hate to make every year. I'm a little bit behind schedule. As you can see, I'm standing in front of David's memorial area. If you've never seen the video on the glass, but it's a beautiful spot. There's a couple videos of making this, and Chris coming down and Charlie coming down to help. And anyway, so it's going to be the 6th year anniversary of David's passing, July 25th. Today is the 19th. Like I said, I'm a little bit behind. I usually have most of this part done, but I've been so busy with the house. I got half the plumbing done. I'm getting a toilet working in there because we've got family and friends that are coming down to stay for a little bit for the anniversary and for the weekend. So I've got a lot to do, and one of the things that I do is rotary cut. So I'm going to be rotary cutting this first here because this really grew up, and as you remember, I took those trees down over there, and I just changed this pole. This was a temporary service 10 years ago when David and I built the shop. Because we didn't have a house here, the electric company would only go to here, and they wanted to charge like $4,000 to go the rest of the way from here to there. So for $400 I bought the wire, and I went underground myself. David and our friend James ran the wire down, and this has been on a temporary pole, and the 4x4 is still there. That was pressure treated, but the diagonals that were holding it up were just regular fir, and I didn't realize it, but the whole bottoms had rotted out, and I just didn't like the look of it and having the poles, and it was hard to, you couldn't see it when all the trees were here. It was kind of buried in the trees, but I wanted it to look more like a telephone pole, so I did that. But I got to get in here where all these trees are already growing back up, and I've got to go down by the let me get out of that sun. I've got to go down along the creek channel. I'm going to be on the other side all the way around the creek that runs all the way behind the dam, and the north road of the dam, of the lake, and Gwyn Way and the retention pond and all that. So I've got to clean the air cleaner, grease up the machine, and hook up the rotary cutter. So let's do it. Like I said, I dread this time every year, but I've got to do it. All right, so after about an hour, I'm finally underway. I'm way late now. It's like 11:30. No, it's more than that. I came out at 8:45. We have one of our friends is staying in the fifth wheel, and of course, I don't know if a lightning strike took out the inverter, but I had to bypass everything, take that inverter out, so that's working now. And then the usual hookup, it's always a pain to hook up any implement. You got to get the pressure off, and sometimes you can if you don't know how to do it, you basically shut the machine off, turn the ignition on, put on the hydraulics, and cycle everything through, and it takes the pressure off. But it never seems to take the pressure off of those, so you end up having to crack the lines to get it, and another 10 minutes to get it going. But I'm finally underway. So I am going to start over here. I'm probably going to get the lift out now that I have the lift, and cut these higher branches, but let's try them. So if you don't know how this works, this is the lever here, thumb switch. It's on breaker mode, which it only goes in one direction, and there's a trigger underneath, and you hold them both at the same time and it locks it on, so you don't have to sit there with your hand on it. So there it is. And again, it always takes a long time to get up there. It takes a lot of hydraulics. That's why I'd rather do these high ones with the lift, but while I'm here, they're a little bit out of reach. You won't be able to see much on this. I'll put it on when I get over. Alright, so this is the area that, and on the other side, where I was trying to make a bigger view from where we're sitting on the bench. And this stuff just grew up so much. I mean, I only did this, what, 2 months ago? We've had so much rain. And these gum trees just grow up. It's crazy how fast they grow. They're worse than weeds. They never grow where you want them to grow, though. Move down a little bit farther. Alright, so here's the spot that really grows up fast. I mean, this will probably grow back by, you know, today is Saturday, the 19th, so it'll be Friday the 25th. Probably some of these will start growing back by then. But I like to do it earlier, like I usually have already done this. But all the things that fling out, I can cut with the zero turn, and it makes everything look neater. But we've had so much rain lately that I'm afraid I'm gonna rut. Actually, if you look back, see, I've already scraped up a little bit. Tracks are not very forgiving. Especially on wet ground. It's bad enough when it's not wet, but we just got a huge thunderstorm again yesterday. But it's got to be done. There's no way I'm going in there. I'm not. I used to do this with a weed whacker. No, thank you. You can see what a good job it does. I've done videos on this before. Actually won a contest, so to speak, a video contest on rut manufacturing. I won first prize. And I'm not a paid spokesperson for them. I'm not even an unpaid spokesperson. Well, I guess I am, kind of. I like their stuff, and I certainly would test anything out that they wanted me to. But I don't think they care enough about me. If I had a gazillion subscribers, I'm very good at losing subscribers. I put a video up and I lose 4. Then I'll gain back 2, and then lose 6 on the next one. I don't really get it, because I see somebody, oh, I built a shed by myself in 3 months. And I build everything by myself and teach how to do it. And I'll lose people, so I don't know, go figure. Whatever. It's not why I do it. though it does bother me a little bit when you put a lot of effort into it and do a good job. And I'm going to be going on that side anyway, but if I can reach, I will get it. You get a different angle on both sides, so where it narrows down, like over here, I can get it on both sides, and I can then make this side look a little bit better. And I try to do it without scalping too much. Sometimes it's hard not to. Alright, I'll get it in a little bit. That's how I bring the tripod from place to place. A little bungee cord in that, because there is no room in that cab. Just for you guys. Down near the end. I don't think I showed this on camera, but one of our outdoor cats, his name was Cole, like what you burn in a stove. I think he got hit by one of the trucks from the electric company or the people that came to trim the trees. for the electric company when they put those poles in. I found them right over there. And they have a cat den that's underneath that big tree right there. And I think he got scared by the trucks and he got hit. So I built this. I'll get a shot of it. But I made a memorial for he's buried underneath there. I thought he'd like it there because that was close to, they would go from their den to our David's porch. And he was only about not even 3 years old. He was a good boy. I'll get a shot of it afterwards and I'll put it in this clip. Alright, so that's what I made for Cole. We had a plaque made for him. And I've got a weed whack around that part. Trim this a little bit, but thought that was a good spot, but he was a good boy. Never ends. Alright, give you a quick shot from this side so you can see what I did, because I don't feel like getting out again. It's about 98 degrees. Our heat index is like 110 today. Very uncomfortable. But you can see what I did. You see how nice it comes out. I pretty much only do this twice a year. I do it before David's birthday, which is April 16th. And I do it in July, obviously, now. It'll stop growing. Well, it still grows until October, November. We really don't, our fall doesn't really come until December. But right now I really have to cut the grass at least once a week. Could really be done twice a week, but I do not have time. Like I said, I got half the plumbing done so I can I'm gonna put a toilet, a working toilet in the house so that when everybody's here, because even though it's not finished, we can still hang out over there because the porch is done and all that. View of the lake. Good breeze. So, alright, well, I gotta finish this up and then we've got to go to Lowe's, both Lowe's Foods and Lowe's Building Supplies, and I've got to get some supplies for next week, so, and I didn't put fuel in here, so I'm gonna have to do that. But I should be able to have enough to get from here over back to the shop. So, well, I can't catch a break. I got a piece of wood jammed in, and it won't let the blade spin freely, which is no good because boy, this thing is it's all off balance right now. So the whole thing was vibrating. I think it would have shook apart if I didn't stop it. So. I needed fuel anyway, so let me dig that out of there. Got it. It's amazing. It wasn't even in there that hard. That's the piece. Chipped right off and just jammed in there. But well, I needed to stop anyway. That was David telling me that you needed to stop, I suppose. He threw that piece out at me because I really was pushing the fuel. I don't like to get it towards the bottom of the tank, and I got sidetracked and didn't fill it up. Usually I fill them up before I'm done. I mean after I'm done so that it's ready to go in case of emergency. But I guess I had other emergencies. Alright, here's the end of the day. I don't think I took an interim or whatever, but we're getting ready for the sunset. It's 8 o'clock right now. 91 degrees. Got up to 104 today. So that looks pretty good. I wanted to show you the little ducks. I'll make another video of them. They're so cute. But anyway, there's our sunset. Be another 12 minutes probably before it's down. But I just thought it looked nice and wanted to catch a shot of that. Alright, making my way down to the creek channel. Down through my woods here. Straight down. It's really not too bad. I try to keep this clear because I drive down here quite a bit. But I haven't really been through the woods other than with the lawnmower. But you've got all trails that go through here. There's really not too much right here, but you'll see when I get to the creek channel that there is. We get these are grapes, wild grapevines, muscadines that grow up pretty quickly. And I like to get these. I can't stand these big prickers. They climb in all the trees, just make a mess out of them. This was all trails that about 10 years ago now, I cut all these. This was just all dense. Just like it is in the woods there when you see that whole thing. There were no trails at all in here. These are these gum trees I talked about earlier. I mean, they just grow. I cut these back all the time, and they just, you could cut them right down to the ground and they'll still sprout out of it again. It's a very tenacious bunch. I like to drive David's truck down through here, and I have flags, American flag and the Gadsden flag on there, and I like to make sure that the flags aren't going to hit and break the pole or rip the flags. Again, sorry, you probably can't really see up there. Area of the creek where you can see it, and this really grew in. I keep this cut. This is actually it's probably 2 weeks. 2 weeks ago I cut this, and I mean the grass itself, not the edge. This is from April, since the last time I did this, but water's way down again. We've had a lot of rain, but the creek is still down. This is a nice area after the rain. When you see when this thing is full, it's really like a river. And it has come over 2 times. They'll only come over in this area. As I've said before, I've built up the dam high enough so that it can't top it. But here, in this one spot, it can. Which I don't really care, because it doesn't go very far. It just comes up and over a little bit into the woods. Alright, I'll put it back on when I get in the middle down over the edge, because you can't really see too much here. I'll get a dual shot. I've got a camera out on the stick there looking down at the cutter. Hopefully it's not all fogged up. It's so humid. I took it out of the cab, out of the bag. Gives you a little look at how fast the creek flows normally with the stuff floating down, the grass clippings. Sure, some of you have heard me say this and even saw the picture, but this always reminds me, and the lighting is a little bit similar, I think, to David standing right there, looking at, it was after one of the hurricanes, Hurricane Florence, I think it was, and we came down to look because it was so high, and there was a structure that was down over here that we had to remove. And I always, every time I come over here, I think of that. I always like, that's another reason I like to keep this area clear over here. But this is a nice place to go for a walk and come by and watch it. Alright, so here we go. This is, like I said, this is about where David was standing, looking that way, and there was somebody's like tree stand or something was in that corner we had to remove. Hopefully this isn't fogged up, because my glasses are fogged up. But so this is pretty good. You can see the pretty steep here, but it's all established so nothing washes out. And the only place that the creek ever comes up is right in that low spot right there, and it'll go up to about there. But this is a nice spot to come drive the side by side back here, a nice walk through the woods, and sit right here. And especially, like I said, you know, when the water's up halfway in this or 3/4 of the way, it's pretty impressive. All right, making my way into the woods trails here, Memory Lane. If you can see the sign, it's a place that I put stuff that I should throw away that remind me of either David or I've got my grandson Ethan's bike in here, and just got James's old bike in here, and what I mean, there's just a lot of junk that it would be junk to anybody else, but I put it in here. Right over there. I like to keep this area clear. Again, these terrible pricker vines that are like anaconda snakes. They grow so big and wrap around all the trees. So by doing this twice a year, it kind of keeps them at bay. And even on the side-by-side and on the tractor, I keep a pair of cutters. So as I come in here all the time. So if I see one, I'll keep it clear. Here's a little more in the woods. Forgot to put the camera on before. I got so wrapped up into what I was doing. But like I said, I'll do just a land tour. I keep saying that and I never do it, but I'll try to do one. I just never have everything all cut at the same time, because especially now with the house, I don't have enough time to even do the house, let alone to keep it the way I normally keep it. But you can see I haven't even been in here since April. And I'm not even sure if I came in here in April. I can't remember if I did in here or not, but I run the mower through here like once a month probably, not every time. I try to do it when I only get about 3 cuts out of a set of blades, because you got to remember I'm cutting probably 25 acres at least, and it's a lot of sand. So people say, oh, just sharpen them. No, you don't understand. There's no blade left to sharpen. They're gone. It's gone. The metal is gone. So I try to come in here right before I change the blades, so that I don't have to, obviously I don't want to come in here with trying to get these, you can't see them probably, but there's vines that are hanging down. I try to do them with blades that are ready to go to the dump. So it doesn't get a lot of sunlight in here, so stuff doesn't grow. It would grow more in the spring, in the fall, which is more like the winter really, but because then you'll get some light in here when all the leaves are down. But like I said, the leaves really don't fall off until just right before Christmas, and some of them are still here in January. So, but straight ahead of me, that is where I came in. Give you an idea of where I am. So the creek is to my right, the house is to my left. That's the main shot trail that I came in when I showed you. So that's where I am, and there's still more that way to my left, which I'll make my way around. But all right, I shall be back. All right, I finished in the woods. Now I'm up on the dam. There's not too much to do over here, because these weeds I want to grow. But there is a few that have already grown decent size. So I'm going to trim a little bit just so it looks better, but I don't want to stunt their growth, so to speak. But I also need to make sure that this side, I got to get the 250 up here at some point. So So I've got to pull some material back out. Really hot today. We're running at 2 ticks below all the way. I think it's 110 index here today. The actual temperature is like 104. I know it got up to 104 yesterday. I took a picture of it in the truck. I think today's supposed to be about the same. I haven't been out of here too much, so it's nice in here. Alright, making good progress, about 10 minutes down. Like I said, there's not really too much here to do. So I do have to fix one washout when we had these massive thunderstorms. And I guess I had one low spot right there. Not too bad because my concrete riprap is doing its job, but I got that one little corner, so I've got to go get some gumbo and just fix that. But there's a lot of vegetation growing on this now, so it's good. I'm just giving it a trim, just taking off the high stuff. Almost midway down on the north side, on the north road, but I didn't feel like getting out to put out the tripod because the camera literally will overheat in 5 minutes, less than that. But I've trimmed a bunch of these trees. You really can't see much from in here unless I'm looking up like that. You can kind of see out this window, but I need to make sure that the General and the 250 can fit down here without hitting, scraping in anything. So, and like I said, I'm not trying to take too much. I want this growth over here because this is what stops everything from eroding as we're waiting for the final thing to be done here by DHEC, but it's growing in enough that it's holding itself together. It's not graded the way I want it, which is not good because then the stuff that's growing in is going to have to be redone again. But I can't worry about that now, because who knows when they're coming, and I don't have time to do it while I'm doing the house. So, see, like I said, this is the hard part to show you. It's also the hard part to do because I can't see what I'm doing either. But that's pretty good right there. Nice day. You can see where I am. There's the house. Just a little bit more to go over there, and then I'll get down onto Gwyn Way. I'll put it back on. I always clear. This is my neighbor. This is Gwyn. That's why I call it Gwyn Way. Well, not here is a Gwyn Way, but where I call Gwyn Way, Gwyn Way. But this is one of his pastures where he keeps horses, and hopefully one day I will buy this from him when he's ready to sell it. He has me down as the first one to buy it. But I bury his, if he has a horse that dies or something, I bury them for him, and this is the way that I get in. Plus I like to come and see them. So I like to keep this clear. So hence, that's why I'm in here. We'll see if we see any. One got out some, I don't know, probably a few months ago. Could be 3 months ago now, as fast as time goes. But I got him back in, opened the gate. Actually, I think he was a she. But it's good to have this clear, because I don't want to have to do this if, unfortunately, they have the need for me to go over there. I don't want to have to do this to get in. And I do. Oh, you know why I don't see any? He cut this. He cut this yesterday. I heard him out here with the bush hog. He was bush hogging. So I guess I can't show you any of the horses. Sorry about that. Alright, there we are. That's all trimmed. I'm right across from David's house. Well, this is Eagle Mountain right there. And I'm on my way to Gwynway now. Alright, I gotta start doing some cutting again. I'm almost to Gwynway. This is right across from the mansion. And I used to be able to get down in here with the bad boy, but not anymore. And I never know where the water begins and the land ends. So I decided against it. Easier to do it this way and not worry about it. Get both sides as I go. I put the blade down on that one because you don't need to tip over hanging out like that. This looks much better when this is cut, and I can't, like I said, I don't know, especially after it rains, you don't know where the water level is. It's getting there. This is a little slower going. This is thick. This isn't really like a finish mower, you know. Those are some big blades that are chunking through there, and it wants to drag it out rather than cut it off on these. See what I'm talking about. It's hard to tell where the end is. You can see even right there, that was all grass right there, but you'd be in the water. Elephant ears. You got a lot of elephant ears down this end. And there's a lot of broken up concrete that the former owner dumped down this end, and I tried to get it all out, but inevitably you'll probably see some dust come out when I hit one. Maybe I won't. I mean, I've been doing this for a lot of years now, so I probably hit them all. But anytime I see one, I usually make a mental note to come and dig it out, so that I don't hit it. Well, there's a rut right there. Alright, a little bit farther, and more I'm gonna leave those in there. I kind of like them. I can't reach them all anyway because I can't get that close to the edge. It's actually right there. There's not much over here. I had to fix this part. This whole area used to sinkhole in, used to wash down in there. So you can see right there, point. So I'm gonna leave those elephant ears just for looks, and then they'll grow back. They'll grow some more. That drops off right there. You'd be walking on grass mat. That's it, right there. That's it. So I never go close to that end. That's as far as I go with the lawnmower. It kind of creeps back as the season goes on because I get less and less close. Once I don't really know where the edge is, I am not going over that edge. It's a long way down. You can see where the water is. I'm at the tops of the trees over here. Alright, I'll put it back on when I get to the retention pond. Well, so much for showing you me do around the retention pond because I forgot to put the camera on, and I'll go by and show it at the end when I show everything. But quick oil change, just hitting 200 hours on this. I've changed it at 53, so now I'm going to change it at 200 and call it good before I do any more, because I still have a little bit more to do, which I probably won't video, and then I'll show a couple other things and that'll be it. Alright, for the last part of my task, well, last, it probably won't be the last, but at least the main last before I get on the mower, is I've got to trim those branches on those pine trees, because in order to drive the General around, I have to go out that way, now that the shipping container is there. And that's the way I used to go anyway with it, but those branches are all growing in. So I'm going to use the lift, and I'm going to go do that now, because the General will be coming out. There she is, or there he is, whichever. And I've got to get some more diesel tomorrow, and you see a upcoming video to my right. I'm just hinting at it, but you'll see an upcoming video on that. So let's get this part done so I can get on the mower. See if we can go in rabbit mode. This is a high-speed mode, but it doesn't have much power, so if it encounters too much friction, or if you're anything soft, forget it. It's not going to work. You can hear it probably dying. Put it back now. Otherwise, we may not get there. Probably won't even need to lift up. Other than I'm going to be in the trees. I'm just using the Milwaukee Sawzall because I do not feel like breaking out the pole pruner just for this. Make the cut on the bottom so it doesn't tear. you can see how even that one opened that up. I was ripping the flags off the General's mirrors, so I'll stack it up here. I'll pick them up with the forks, so I'll grab these two, and I got a couple more back there, and that's it really over here. Alright, so I did, this is the culvert pass that I did to the back of our house side like 3 years ago. So you can see the shop, and I just came around that way. So I didn't view cutting it all just because I want to get it done. I don't have any time, but I wanted to show you what I did, and I am done. And now I'm gonna get this away and get on the mower. It's gonna take a day and a half. All right, I'm gonna end this video here. You can see me, I got my suit on, I'm still working. The little ducks, there's 5 little ducks there, and the other 3 just flew over. I just missed them up, they just landed, and this camera can't zoom. These GoPros don't zoom once they're already recording, but those 5 are coming to eat. And here's those 5 ducks. There's our, well, there's 3 of the ruins. There's one, must be on the other side. There's our 5 Pekings, and this is our group of 5, and there's a group of 3. Right, little ducks? And they just got their scratch, so they're happy. And you saw the 3 fly away, so I guess they probably already ate, and you saw that. So, all right, little ducks, we'll be back. I'm gonna be out here for a while. As you saw, I cut all the trees down. This is the second load of branches I'm bringing over. I'm going to put this on this pile here. This one's pretty big. If you remember, this was from where I made the crossing by the back of the shop, and it's actually bigger than it looks on camera, I can tell you that. But it goes all the way around and keeps going all the way around. So this is dried out pretty good, as you can see. I just dumped some over there already too, but this will be hot enough that those will burn. Those will definitely burn. So I'm going to be out here for a while. Still got a lot more to do before today's the 23rd. But these days before, I don't like to stop, because I don't like what's coming after. I don't like what's coming after. So I'll be out here doing a little bit more, and I may go live on the 25th. So just so everybody knows, it's 2:23 in the afternoon, 14:23. That's Eastern Standard Time. So if you're somewhere else, obviously you have to calculate it as to where you are. But I may be going live. I may do a live because we do a toast and a ceremony right at the time at the memorial area with David's truck and the general and probably the Mustang and maybe his motorcycle and all that. And then if the conditions are right, meaning if I can burn this without having to worry about burning down the neighborhood, we may go live with that. And if you've ever seen my fires, you know they're pretty spectacular. There'll be probably about $300 worth of fuel on that when it goes off. So it's going to make a big boom and it's nice. So I thought it's fitting to do that now for that. So so keep an eye out for that. I'll be going live, like I said, probably twice on Friday the 25th. So as usual, thanks for watching. Catch you in the next one, and I hope that you guys can get on there to watch if we go live. So appreciate it. Thanks.